and welcome to Arts 24. Well, the 50th edition of the American Film Festival in Deauville kicks off this weekend on the beaches of Normandy. This anniversary edition, however, has been rocked by the Me Too movement spreading through French cinema recently. The festival's director was asked to leave after several allegations of sexual misconduct. But it remains first and foremost a celebration of cinema. So let's cross over to France 24's Genie Godula, also the MC of the event, to tell us more. Genie, we could say that this is something of an autumnal version of the Cannes Film Festival, but what is it that sets Deauville apart?
Hi, Olivia. Hi, everyone. You're absolutely right, Olivia. Deauville was a festival that was created 50 years ago to focus exclusively on American cinema, and that's what sets it apart. And this place, Deauville, was actually chosen as it's not far from the Normandy beaches, which, of course, were the site of the D-Day landings during World War II, which were led by the Americans. Now, the very early editions of this festival 50 years ago were marked with some of the greatest stars in Hollywood history, everyone from Cary Grant to Gregory Peck, Shirley MacLaine, Elizabeth Taylor. Myself, as an MC over the past 20 years, have had the pleasure of standing next to John Travolta, Harrison Ford, even Mick Jagger one year here in Deauville. And many of these stars, these American stars who come, have had the honor of getting their very own beach bungalow, which is a bit of a tradition here in Deauville on the boardwalk. It almost makes these planches de Deauville, what we call the boardwalk here, like Normandy's very own Walk of Fame.
They're so quaint. They're really very charming, that tradition of the planche, and of course they're having their own bungalow. That wooden boardwalk that you mentioned, it's not only a favourite among celebrities, holidaymakers also descend upon the Calvados region every summer to take a stroll next to the sea, to take the sea air. Charlie James takes a look at the history of this iconic aspect of the Normandy coastline.
Since 1924, people have taken a stroll, jogged, posed for photos, and shared kisses here. In Deauville, the famous boardwalk is dubbed Les Planches.
C'est un endroit iconique, on a toujours envie d'aller se promener, c'est magnifique, voilà, on prend l'air.
C'est le côté poétique du bruit de la mer, des mouettes et puis de voir les parasols.
C'est les films, c'est l'histoire que ça représente, c'est aussi le festival du film américain.
Moi, je vois la haute société parisienne se promener en robe longue et je revis ça.
This year, the resort's boardwalk is celebrating its 100th anniversary. Designed at the same time as the bathing facilities, it was meant to look like a ship's deck, linking the changing rooms to the beach. And its success has never wavered.
It quickly became a social hub, a place for a leisurely stroll, not just for the elite, but for everyone. Because it was such a hit, it became a place where celebrities tested their popularity. And we saw in a magazine Josephine Baker walking down the Deauville boardwalk with a cheetah. Everyone knows that if you come here, photographers and journalists might catch you, especially as the buzz shifts to places like Deauville in the summer.
The boardwalk is even featured in the Oscar-winning film A Man and a Woman, with Jean-Louis Trintignant driving his Mustang toward his loved one. For director Claude Lelouch, the promenade has captured the souls of many artists.
I believe in footprints. I like to think that perhaps the novelist Françoise Sagan or the poet Jean Cocteau left a trace on these boards. We often walk barefoot on them, if you see what I mean. It's brilliant that the boardwalk has become so famous.
C'est formidable que des planches soient célèbres.
Les Planches stretch 762 meters and are replaced every 15 years. Though the traces of the past have disappeared, the Deauville boardwalk remains an irresistible place to be.
Genie, you mentioned there are many American stars who've popped up in Deauville over the years. So what about this year? Who's there for the opening?
First, let me go back in time, if you like. One of Deauville's biggest supporters when it started 50 years ago was the actor Kirk Douglas, who came twice. He got a tribute in the past, and tonight is actually his son, the actor Michael Douglas, who's also getting a Lifetime Achievement Award this year at the festival. Now, Michael Douglas is a two-time Oscar winner for Best Actor in Wall Street and for Best Picture in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest that he produced in the 1970s. Deauville has a particularly special place in his heart. He's been here 5 times, and it's actually here that he met his wife, the actress Catherine Zeta-Jones.
And I heard that he's quite fond of the golf courses in Deauville as well. He's certainly a fan of the festival. Let's take a look back at the actor's love affair with France and French cinema with this report by Jennifer Ben-Brahim.
A love affair with France, from its language Comme on dit melt en français.
Je suis très, très jeune.
To its rich history of cinema, Michael Douglas is the most French of American film stars. The transatlantic relationship can be traced back to the Cannes Film Festival. 4 films in competition on a croisette, including the scandalous erotic drama Basic Instinct.
There's no smoking in this building, Miss Trammell.
What are you going to do? Charge me with smoking?
In 2023, he returned to the south of France to receive an honorary Palme d'Or, affirming his undying love for Cannes and French cinema.
This has been more than 40 years since my first visit to Cannes, and all of my memories have always been good. Every time that I've come here, you see the joy of cinema that the French have.
The feelings are mutual. The star of Wall Street and Fatal Attraction has won 2 Césars, France's equivalent to the Oscars. At the 2016 ceremony, he cited French filmmakers as some of his greatest inspirations.
This is where cinema started, right? France is the beginning of film. Also, when I was young, in the 1950s, the 1960s, Claude Lelouch, François Truffaut, many directors like that.
You are.
Most recently, Douglas portrayed one of the original ambassadors of Franco-American relations, founding father Benjamin Franklin.
The Congress has sent me here as a representative of the United States to enlist France in our war against England.
France has also played Cupid for Michael Douglas. It was in fact at the Deauville American Film Festival in 1998 where he crossed paths with British actress Catherine Zeta-Jones. The red carpet encounter resulted in a marriage going 23 years strong and 2 children.
Who knows? Maybe a few years from now, you may be having an homage to the 3rd generation of Douglases.
This is Michael Douglas's 5th trip to the Normandy seaside. He's receiving an honorary award, following in the footsteps of his late father and Spartacus actor Kirk Douglas, a longtime friend of the festival.
So a Lifetime Achievement Award for Michael Douglas this year at Deauville. Jeannie, what about the other stars showing this week?
Well, there will certainly be many U.S. celebrities here. Natalie Portman, Queen Amidala from the Star Wars first trilogy and the Oscar winner for Black Swan, will be getting what they call a Deauville Talent Award. That will be given to her by French actress Isabelle Adjani next Saturday. She'll also be getting her very own beach bungalow, like those ones we were looking at just a few moments ago. Also this week, the 5-time Oscar nominee Michelle Williams, who our viewers might remember from films like Brokeback Mountain, Manchester by the Sea, or more recently Steven Spielberg's The Fabelmans, is getting a tribute as well. American film icon Francis Ford Coppola, the Godfather himself, the director of Apocalypse Now, will also be here screening his very latest film, which is called Megalopolis. But there will also be younger Hollywood talent, which will be honored as well this week. 3 Rising Star Awards will be attributed. One to Sebastian Stan, who was Bucky in Captain America. Also, Daisy Ridley will be here getting an honor. She, of course, was the new face of Star Wars in J.J. Abrams' trilogy. And Mikey Madison, the star of Anora, which is the film that won the Golden Palm at the Cannes Film Festival, will also be getting a Rising Star Award here in Deauville. Let's take a look at that film.
Like, what do you do to get all of this?
I am telling you, you do not know this guy. Vanya? It's a fraud marriage, and we're getting in an old ASAP.
That's a nice guy.
So, Jeannie, many of those big films are screening out of competition because there is a competitive element there at Deauville. And while only American independent films are allowed to compete, the jury itself is made up of just French industry professionals. It's quite a funny mix.
Absolutely. And it always is so interesting to see this mixing and matching of French and U.S. talent here in Deauville. And it's true, almost every name in French cinema has been part of a jury here in Deauville over the years. Some of the presidents have included Catherine Deneuve, Guillaume Canet, Carole Bouquet, Sophie Marceau, Vincent Lindon, and the list goes on and on. This year, the jury president is French actor Benoît Magimel. He is the winner of 3 César Awards, so like France's Oscars, for Best Actor. He also more recently starred alongside his former former partner Juliette Binoche in the film The Taste of Things, which was France's contender for Best Foreign Film at the Oscars this year. Now, he and all of his jury will be in charge of deciding which of the 14 U.S. independent films in competition are going to be the big winners this year. And just a reminder of viewers, past winners here in Deauville have included such great films as Little Miss Sunshine, Crash, Whiplash, or Being John Malkovich.
Yeah, it's always interesting to see what the French jury pick. Often word of mouth hits, I find. Now, the competition kicks off this weekend. So tell us a bit more about the film they picked to kick off or open the festival.
Well, actually, Olivia, this year there are two opening films with an S. So first of all, there's going to be a brand new award that's going to be given to a young up-and-coming American filmmaker at the festival. Her name is Malia Ann. Now, you might not know that name, but you might know her better by her official last name, which is Obama. So Malia Ann is the daughter of the former U.S. President Barack Obama. She has become a filmmaker now in her own right, and she will be here in person to receive that award and to present the short film called The Heart, which will be screened tonight at the opening, or this year at the opening. Now, the opening film will then be followed by the opening feature film, which is Lee, starring Kate Winslet. Now, this film tells the story of photographer Elizabeth Lee Miller, who was a fashion model who actually became an acclaimed war correspondent for Vogue magazine during World War II. Lee is directed by Ellen Carras, who is a very famous cinematographer. In fact, she was a pioneer for women in the field. She really made her mark with the film, you might remember, Olivia, Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, which was directed by Michel Gondry and starring Kate Winslet, which won the most innovative film here in competition in Deauville 20 years ago. So if you like, everything really has come full circle for that film tonight.
Wow, and it sounds like some beautiful symmetry there. Two very talented women behind the camera, past and present. Thank you so much for that roundup, Jeannie, and do enjoy the rest of the festival. We'll leave you with a clip of Lee with Kate Winslet. Otherwise, do remember you can get more movie news here on Arts24 and on our social media too.
I'm heading to the front. Ready to go?
We don't send women to combat.
Well, that's a problem, because I'm here. Even when I wanted to look away. I knew I couldn't.